These exercises have intersected only sporadically in human history. The turning point likely came in the last quarter of the 20th century, when a group of scientists started experimenting with what they called molecular gastronomy, a scientific attempt to explain why different reactions take place to make a series of culinary preparations possible. Importantly, understanding the composition of the products and the reactions produced by culinary techniques has been beneficial beyond improving haute cuisine and dining experiences. It has also made it possible to better determine why certain allergies and intolerances occur. This is a phenomenon of growing importance for society in general, and catering in particular, often to the extent that certain tables will require different menus. Furthermore, advanced knowledge of products and preparations not only allows us greater innovative and creative ability, but being aware of everything that can happen on the microbiological scale also contributes to achieving increased food safety and hygiene. All of these aspects, and many more, have been addressed for the last 10 years in the Harvard course, and the majority of them are included in this book. The authors aim to contribute to the general public's understanding of the connections that have historically taken place between science and cooking, and the current state of these collaborations and dialogues. However, if we consider the future, there is still much to be done. Why, for example, does Harvard, along with other prestigious universities, have a school of architecture, but not one of gastronomy? This is due to a cultural bias that needs to be corrected, and I am convinced it will be rectified in the near future, since we know gastronomy has significant intellectual potential. At the El Bulli Foundation, one of the most important projects that we have been promoting for years is the deepening of this dialogue and the development of a global project to maximize opportunities and strengthen the synergy between cooking and science, always with the aim of deepening our culinary knowledge and professionalizing our discipline to the highest level. I am convinced that this commitment to knowledge has resulted in the most prepared and brilliant generation of future chefs and restaurateurs in history. I have no doubt that Harvard's continued work in pursuit of this dialogue will enable us in the future to have chefs capable not only of understanding their trade and the history of their discipline, but also of putting into practice the links established between gastronomy and science. Ferran Adrià. Forward. When Ferran asked me to join him at Harvard's Science and Cooking course almost a decade ago, we knew it was something special. Every chef who has worked with Ferran, and many others around the world, know this truth, that cooking is science, and that science is cooking. Many amazing discoveries have been made in history by scientists working with food, as well as by chefs employing the scientific method. It was Nicolas Appert, a French pastry chef and chemist, who invented the process of canning in the early 19th century through a series of experimentations, leading to an entirely new way to safely preserve and consume food. Microbiologist Louis Pasteur's pasteurization process revolutionized the food industry and has probably saved millions of lives since its discovery. Recent discoveries about fermentation and preservation by places like Noma's fermentation lab are leading a new revolution into the science of microbes and may be key to figuring out how we will be feeding the next billion people on Earth. We are thinking about scientific processes every day at my restaurant, Minibar, where we use physics, chemistry, microbiology, fluid dynamics, and more to create dishes that are new and interesting, and of course delicious. But this type of experimentation isn't just happening at Minibar. Scientific thought enters into every one of my restaurants, from how long we boil vegetables, and at what concentration of salt at beefsteak, to the type of wood we use for smoke at America Eats Tavern, to the heat diffusion in our woks at Cina Chilcano. When we use the term molecular gastronomy, we are really describing all cooking, because all of it involves the manipulation of molecules. For example, boiling, steaming, and making ice are all transformations of water molecules. Thinking about science as cooking